You get used to the quiet, the same chair, the same dinner, the same silence that once felt peaceful now feels heavy. They call it freedom, but you know better because some nights that silence talks back. It asks questions you don't want to answer, like when did peace turn into loneliness? Most men living alone don't collapse in one moment. They fade slowly through 9 quiet mistakes they never see coming. Let's talk about them. Mistake 1, turning solitude into isolation. Solitude was meant to make you stronger, to give you space to think, to rebuild, to breathe again. But sometimes the same silence that once healed you begins to harden you. It starts quietly. You tell yourself you're just resting, that you've earned this peace. The quiet mornings, the empty house, the coffee that no one interrupts. You convince yourself you're finally free. But freedom has a strange way of turning into isolation. So slowly you don't notice it happening. One day you stop answering calls. You say you'll text later, but never do. You tell people that you're fine, even when your chest feels heavy for no reason. You stop looking at your reflection long enough to ask if this version of you still feels alive. That's how isolation wins. It doesn't break the door down. It just waits until you stop opening it. I've seen it in men who swore they were strong and the ones who said, "I'm better on my own." They start disappearing, not from the world, but from themselves. Their homes get quieter. Their thoughts get louder. But even quiet places can grow gardens again if you open the windows, and their hearts forget what it feels like to be seen. When you live alone for too long, silence becomes a mirror, and not every reflection is kind. It starts talking back, telling you that no one cares, that no one would notice if you vanished, that connection is weakness and solitude is power. But that's a lie, a clever one. True strength was never about building higher walls. It's about keeping the door unlocked enough for life to reach you. You don't have to be surrounded to feel alive. You just have to stay connected to something outside your own echo. Once a week, step outside your routine. Have coffee somewhere new. Greet one stranger and remind your body what movement feels like. You can live alone and still be alive inside. You don't need a crowd. You just need to remember that you're still part of something larger than your walls. Start small. Say good morning to your neighbor. Ask to that cashier how their day's going, or wave to that neighbor who's been watering the same garden for 20 years. He probably understands more than you think. Not because you're lonely, but because you refuse to vanish. Your silence should be your strength, not your prison. And the moment it starts feeling heavy, that's your sign. Step outside, take a breath, and let the world remind you it's still waiting for you. Because solitude doesn't destroy a man, isolation does. And the line between them is crossed in silence. But the same silence that traps you can also free you. The moment you choose to answer it with life again. Mistake 2, numbing yourself instead of healing. Most men don't break in one moment. They fade slowly, quietly, behind small habits that look harmless. A drink to calm the nerves, a show to fill the silence, a few hours of scrolling to keep the night from feeling too long. And then one day, it's not just a habit anymore. It's your way of surviving yourself. You tell yourself you're fine, you work, you pay the bills, you even laugh sometimes. But deep down, you know something's missing. Not in your life, but in you. And maybe you've tried, truly tried, but healing never moves as fast as people promise. You don't rest anymore. You recover just enough to make it through the next day. You're not living, you're waiting. That's what numbing does. It doesn't erase the pain. It just hides it long enough for it to grow roots. And by the time you realize it, the pain isn't even what hurts anymore. It's the distance between who you are and who you were before you stopped feeling. Maybe it started after the breakup, after someone left, or after you left yourself. You thought time would fix it, that you just needed to move on. But time doesn't heal unattended wounds. It just teaches you how to walk with a limp and call it progress. Every man has his own escape. For one, it's the bottle. For another, the endless scroll, images, faces, noise. For others, it's overworking until exhaustion feels like purpose. We all build walls out of something, and those walls don't protect you. They just keep you from seeing how much life you're missing on the other side. You tell yourself, at least I'm not falling apart, but maybe that's the problem. You stopped breaking, but you also stopped rebuilding. It's okay, and every man forgets how to rebuild sometimes. What matters is that you still care enough to notice. You became so good at surviving that you forgot how to feel. But it only takes one honest day to start remembering again. And now the silence that once brought peace feels like punishment. I get it. Facing yourself is terrifying because you know what you'll find: the guilt, the regret, the person you could have been. But if you keep avoiding that confrontation, you'll never be free from it. You'll just keep reliving it in smaller, quieter ways. Sit with what hurts, not to drown, but to listen. Write it down, pray if you believe, or just whisper to the air, I don't want to live like this anymore. That's enough to start. Try this for 7 nights. No screens 1 hour before bed. Sit with silence and write 3 honest lines about what the day made you feel. You don't need to heal all at once. You just need to stop hiding from the part of you that still wants to. The truth is, no one escapes pain untouched. But pain has a strange gift. It only lingers until it's heard. Once you face it, it loses its power. Once you name it, it begins to dissolve. You don't have to fix everything tonight. You just have to stop pretending you're fine. Because pretending doesn't protect you. It just delays the moment you start living again. What's the one habit you picked up just to cope? But now it owns you. Write it down, call it out. That's where freedom starts. A man can live alone and still be alive inside. But a man who numbs himself dies with his eyes open. And the saddest part is, he doesn't even realize he's fading. Until one day he wakes up and decides not to anymore. If this hits somewhere deep, just tap like, not for me, but as a quiet way to say, yeah, I felt that too. You'd be surprised how many men silently nod at the same truths. And if this spoke to something real in you, stay here. Subscribe, not for motivation, but for moments that help you remember who you are. And if you know a man who's quietly fighting the same battle, share this with him. Sometimes one quiet video changes more than 100 loud voices. Mistake 3, losing the rhythm of the body. When you live alone, no one reminds you to rest. No one notices when you skip meals, when you fall asleep on the couch again, or when you haven't seen the sun for 3 days straight. It feels harmless. You're independent, in control. But slowly, the rhythm that once carried your life begins to fade. Your body speaks in quiet ways long before it screams. It's strange how a man can hear the hum of a refrigerator, yet miss the cry of his own pulse. It whispers through the stiffness in your shoulders, the ache in your back, the tired eyes staring at another late-night screen. It tells you, I'm still here. I need you. But most men don't listen until something breaks. We treat the body like a tool that's supposed to keep working no matter what. Fuel it with coffee, silence it with pills, push it through exhaustion. Then one day, the machine stops responding, and we call it aging. But it's not age, it's neglect. There's a simple truth no one teaches you. When your body slows down, your mind follows. You can't think clearly inside a tired vessel. You can't feel joy in a body that's forgotten movement. But the body forgives quickly. It just needs an invitation. Still, it's never too late to return to rhythm. Not the forced kind, not gym punishments or diets that feel like war, but the kind that feels like home. Clean the corner of the room you keep ignoring. Stretch before you pour the morning coffee. Walk until you remember what air tastes like. Eat food that reminds you the world still has color. Sleep because you deserve renewal, not because you're defeated. And if you've forgotten how to care for this body, start with words. Say it softly, out loud if you can. I'm sorry for pushing you when you were tired. I forgive myself for neglecting you. Thank you for carrying me through everything I didn't think I could survive. And as you speak, notice your body has been listening all along. Pause after each line. Breathe with your own heartbeat. You'll feel something shift. Not dramatic, just gentle, like your body finally exhaling after years of holding you together. Little by little, the body forgives. It doesn't need perfection, only attention. Reset your rhythm with 3 small rituals. Sleep at the same hour, walk in the morning light, and drink more water than your excuses. And when you start to care for it again, something inside you begins to rise with it. Because healing isn't always about facing memories. Sometimes it's as simple as remembering that this body, your body, is still on your side, waiting for you to come home to it. But the greatest mistake isn't in the body. It's in what happens when we start protecting ourselves too well. Mistake 4. Mistaking protection for peace. After a man's been hurt, he starts to build. Not a house, a fortress, brick by brick, memory by memory. Every broken promise becomes a wall. Every betrayal becomes a lock. Every silence becomes another reason not to let anyone in. At first, it feels safe. You finally control who gets close. You choose the distance. You decide what enters and what stays out. But the longer you live behind those walls, the more you realize safety and peace aren't the same thing. A fortress protects you, a home holds you, and you can't build both in the same place. Men who've been alone for too long often confuse strength with distance. They say, I don't need anyone, and for a while it feels true. But deep inside, they still crave a voice that doesn't echo, someone to share the silence with, not to fill it, but to make it warmer. This is where the old Stoics understood something timeless. That self-mastery isn't isolation, it's balance. They believed a man should be rooted in himself, but open to the world. Unafraid to stand alone, but wise enough to stay connected. The truth is, walls don't keep pain out. They only keep healing from finding you. Because every barrier you build around your heart traps the very love, kindness, and light that could have set it free. Awareness begins the moment you realize protection has turned into exile. Test your peace. Sit in silence for 10 minutes. If it feels like waiting instead of resting, it's not peace, it's fear wearing calm clothes. You start asking, what am I really defending? The peace I've built or the fear I still carry? And what has it cost me to keep defending it? The answer changes everything. It takes courage to open a door you once swore you'd keep closed forever. Start small, break one habit of distance. Let small moments of warmth remind you that peace isn't the absence of people, it's the presence of safety. It's not easy, and no man forgets the reasons he built those walls. But courage isn't about tearing all the walls down. It's about creating one window at a time, just enough for life to reach you again. Clean a space that feels heavy. Let light fall into corners you forgot existed. Your environment is a mirror of your spirit, and both deserve air. Remember, strength isn't about being untouchable. It's about being whole enough to be touched without falling apart. You can live alone and still let love visit. Not the love that demands, but the kind that understands. Because the walls you built were never wrong. They were just unfinished. They were meant to protect you while you healed, not to bury you where you stand. And when light finally enters, you'll realize it was never the world you feared. It was your own heart learning how to trust again. You've noticed the pattern by now. Every mistake begins quietly. It never arrives with a warning. It just moves in, one silent habit at a time. It's not what you lose that hurts you, it's what you stop noticing. And funny enough, sometimes the first thing a man stops noticing is that his plant died 3 weeks ago. And it was a cactus. Funny how life sends small signs before it shouts. What's one little thing you've been ignoring lately? A plant? A friend? A dream? Drop it in the comments. You'll be surprised how many men feel the same. So take this as your small reminder. Even silence needs attention. The little things are not little, they're just early messengers of what matters. Pay attention, and life starts talking again. You don't have to tear the walls down yet. Just walk the edges of your fortress and ask yourself, am I guarding peace or am I guarding pain? Mistake 5. Forgetting that home should feel alive. Your home is more than a roof and 4 walls. It's a mirror, quietly reflecting the state of your inner world. Look around for a moment. Is your space peaceful or just quiet? Does it hold life or only memories of what life used to be? When a man lives alone for too long, his home often starts to mirror his silence. If someone walked into your home today, what would they learn about the life you've been living? Your surroundings are telling your story, even when you're not speaking. The dishes sit untouched. The curtains stay closed. The same chair, the same path, the same stale air. And without noticing, he begins to move like the room, still, faded, waiting. But a home, like a heart, needs circulation. Light, air, change. When you stop moving, the space around you stops changing too. The old Stoics believed our surroundings shape our thoughts. They spoke of harmony, how order outside brings peace in on. And they were right. When the room is cluttered, so is the mind. When the air is still, so is the soul. Begin a 5-minute reset every morning. Open one window, clear one corner, bring one object back to life. Let morning air find you. Play music, not to fill the silence, but to remind yourself you're still here. Rearrange a corner, light a candle at night, not out of loneliness, but gratitude. For another day, you get to keep building peace. Your home doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to feel awake again. Plants, sunlight, scent, warmth. They're not decoration, they're participation. They remind your nervous system that life is moving forward. And maybe that's what home was always meant to be, a quiet proof that you're still becoming. And if you ever feel lost, remember this. The state of your home is the state of your inner rhythm. Clean space, calm heart, quiet room, clear thoughts. You don't need a bigger place, you just need to let life flow again inside it. So tonight, before you go to bed, walk through your home like it's a living thing. Touch the walls that have heard everything you never said. Then whisper, softly, you can rest now. So can I. Because a home that feels alive doesn't just protect you, it heals you quietly, faithfully, every single day. And once your home begins to breathe again, so must your purpose. Mistake 6. Losing your sense of purpose. There's a different kind of death men face after retirement, the death of direction. But death here only means the end of one chapter, not the story. Purpose isn't found in noise. It's something you remember when everything else goes quiet. When men first begin living alone, they often mistake stillness for absence. They wake up to silence and think something's missing. But the truth is, nothing's missing. It's just waiting to be filled by something new. You see, when you've spent decades providing, fixing, achieving, you start to believe your worth only exists in movement. And the day all that stops, retirement, loss, empty house, you confuse peace with emptiness. Because no one told you how to live when there's no one left to take care of. That's why so many men drift. They stop planning. They stop creating. They start killing time instead of living it. But time doesn't die. It just leaves you behind. Purpose isn't a project. It's the pulse. It's the quiet rhythm that reminds you you're still part of something greater than yourself. And the moment you lose it, everything else starts to fade. Energy, curiosity, even joy. The Stoics knew this truth centuries ago. They said a man without purpose is like a ship without wind. He may stay afloat, but he'll never move. Meaning doesn't need to be grand. It only needs to be honest. Try one of 3 small callings. Mentor someone younger, turn an old hobby into a small project, or serve quietly in your community. Maybe your purpose isn't gone. It's just buried under routine. Start with what once made you feel alive. It might feel pointless at first. That's normal. Purpose doesn't shout. It whispers. That skill you quietly mastered but never shared. That dream you talked yourself out of because it seemed too late. Pick one. Write about it. Sketch it. Build a small version of it again, even if no one ever sees it. Purpose doesn't need an audience, only oxygen. And when a man starts breathing purpose again, life itself begins to answer back. And sometimes it's not a new path you need, but the courage to return to the one you abandoned. The song you stopped singing, the book you never finished, the business you almost started, the man you promised you'd become. That's why I live this way now. Quiet mornings, small projects, sharing what I learn here on Move or Die Stoic. Not to prove anything, just to stay honest with life, because purpose isn't lost, it's only quiet, and it will start speaking again the moment you do. If you've made it this far, you already live with purpose, even if it's quiet. Subscribe so you don't forget to keep building it. Every week we grow stronger, one honest story at a time. Mistake 7, ignoring the body's warnings. Men are good at pretending they're fine. We brush off pain, call exhaustion discipline, and turn silence into strength, until the body starts speaking in a language we can't ignore. It begins quietly, a tightness in the chest, a breath that feels shorter than it should, a tiredness that doesn't leave after rest. But instead of listening, we reason with it. It's just stress. I'll deal with it later. And later becomes the story most men never finish. The truth is simple. Your body never lies. It whispers before it screams. Before your day begins, place a hand on your chest and ask, "How's my engine today?" If the same pain returns 3 times, don't push through it, go check it. Remember, awareness isn't fear, it's care. Listening to your body isn't weakness, it's wisdom and practice. And every signal you ignore becomes a message returned louder. I used to think awareness was a mental game, meditation, philosophy, perspective. But real awareness begins in the body. It's the moment you pause before another cup of coffee, notice your heartbeat, and ask yourself, why does it sound tired? The Stoics spoke about self-mastery, but they never meant to rule over the body. They meant to understand it, to treat it as a trusted ally on the path of wisdom. Because how can a man master his mind if he's at war with the vessel that carries it? So listen, when your heart feels heavy, slow down. When your breath shortens, step outside and let the air remind you what being alive feels like. When pain returns to the same place over and over, it's not an inconvenience, it's a conversation. You don't need to fix everything tonight. Just start by noticing. Awareness itself is medicine. Before you sleep, place a hand on your chest and whisper, "I'm listening now." That's where real strength begins. Not in how much pain you can ignore, but in how deeply you can hear what your own life is trying to tell you. Because ignoring the body's warnings isn't stoicism, it's self-abandonment. And no philosophy can save a man who refuses to return to himself. Still, once you start listening, you'll notice small things that change everything. Go swimming once a week. Play a sport you actually enjoy, not one you think you should play. Add one healthy food to your plate each day. And please, stop pretending black coffee counts as breakfast. Your stomach's been filing complaints for years. It's just too polite to say anything. Take the vitamins your bodies have been quietly asking for. These are not chores. They're small acts of respect toward the only home you truly live in. Your body doesn't need perfection. It needs partnership. Feed it well, move it often, let it rest without guilt. Not to chase youth, but to honor the life still flowing through you. That's how you begin again. One pause, one walk, one honest pause at a time. Mistake 8, failing to maintain deep relationships. There's a strange silence that comes after healing. You rebuild yourself, learn to enjoy peace, and one day you realize no one really knows you anymore. You even start enjoying your own company until you realize no one else is invited. You have friends, maybe, people to talk about sports or news or weather, but the kind of connection that lets you speak without guarding every word, that's the one you've quietly stopped reaching for. It doesn't happen out of pride, it happens out of fatigue. You've carried enough stories, disappointments, and half-finished conversations to make solitude feel easier than being misunderstood. But slowly, that comfort becomes a cage. You start mistaking self-reliance for self-containment. And here's the truth. Even the strongest man still needs witnesses. A witness doesn't fix your life. He reminds you you're still living it. That someone still remembers your story makes you remember it too. Not to fix him, not to praise him, just to see him. Because without being seen, a man's soul begins to fade in silence. The Stoics never told men to walk alone forever. They taught presence, not isolation. Marcus Aurelius himself wrote about friendship as medicine for the soul, reminding us that wisdom grows best in good company. Peace doesn't mean shutting the world out. It means knowing who you can let in. Start small again. Reach out to the ones who once felt safe to you. The friend who never judged you. The neighbor who always waves but never gets a word back. Call them, not because you need to talk, but because you still can. And if that feels too far, begin closer. Ask the guy at the gym how his week's been. Human warmth doesn't need deep roots to start. It just needs repetition. That's how trust begins again. When you live alone, connections won't come knocking. You build them one conversation at a time. You practice honesty again, the kind that doesn't hide behind sarcasm or control. You let yourself be real, even awkward, even unsure. Because authenticity is the first bridge that carries you back to life. And bridges don't need to be perfect. They just need someone willing to cross. Before you end today, try this. Message one person you haven't spoken to in months. Not to explain your silence, just to say, I thought of you. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. The kind that knows healing doesn't end when you find peace. It ends when you share it. And maybe that's why I keep showing up here too. To remind you, solitude builds strength, but connection keeps it human. Because no matter how self-reliant you become, you'll always need one simple thing that solitude can't give you, someone who listens when you finally decide to speak again. When was the last time someone truly saw you? Not the version you show, but you. That's the space where connection begins again. Don't chase more people. Just stay visible to the few who've earned your silence. Mistake 9. Refusing help out of pride. Every man has a point where pride starts pretending to be strength. We say, I've got it, even when the weight is clearly too much. We tell people we're fine because we've been told that's what men do. But pride, when left unchecked, quietly becomes isolation in disguise. It convinces you that needing help means you've failed, that asking for support means you've lost control. And yet, every time you say, I'm fine, when you're not, a small part of your life drifts further from the people who gladly carry it with you. I used to think independence was the highest form of freedom, but real freedom is knowing when to reach out, not because you're weak, but because you're wise. It takes strength to walk alone, but it takes courage to let someone walk beside you. The Stoics called this humility, not self-deprecation, but awareness. They understood that no man stands on his own. Even the strongest oak draws from unseen roots. We're meant to share the weight, not prove we can bear it alone. Start small. Try the ask-receive practice. Each week, let someone help you once, even with something tiny. Then notice what rises, not shame but gratitude. Pride keeps score, humility keeps flow. It's not weakness, it's retraining trust. We talk so much about giving that we forget. Receiving is also sacred. The river doesn't flow one way. Groceries? Accept a hand. A ride? Say yes. Your kids want to handle something for you, let them. Offer others the same kindness you'd gladly give. That too is generosity. I think of another man who walked this world alone. Even he accepted help to carry his cross. A stranger was pulled from the crowd, and for a moment the weight of the world rested on two shoulders. If even he, a symbol of endurance and grace, allowed another to help, who are we to believe we must carry everything by ourselves? Sometimes divine strength isn't shown in how much you can bear, but in how much you're willing to receive. If you're still trying to prove something, ask yourself, to who? To the ghosts of expectations that never even belong to you? Or to the boy inside who still believes he has to earn love by surviving everything alone? You've survived enough. Now it's time to live with open hands. Before the day ends, let someone do one small thing for you. Let them carry a bag, open a door, offer advice. Not because you can, but because you finally understand. Strength isn't in doing everything alone. It's in letting life meet you halfway. You've spent years being unbreakable. Now try being reachable. That's where peace begins again, in the grace of being seen and the quiet relief of saying, yes, I could use a hand. So tonight, maybe do just one small thing. Step outside for fresh air, call a friend, or write down what you still want to live for. If any part of this stayed with you, let it stay. Leave a comment, share it with a friend, or simply hit like so this message finds the next man who needs it. Because every quiet act of support keeps this circle of strength alive. Let someone's kindness be your teacher this week. That's how men learn grace, not from control, but from surrender. You've walked a long way to get here, through silence, through discipline, through the kind of solitude that tests a man's truth. And maybe now you understand living alone was never about escaping the world. It was about remembering how to belong to it again, without losing yourself. You don't have to fix every mistake tonight. Just notice which one is quietly asking for your attention. That's where change begins. Not in pressure, but in awareness. The Stoics taught that strength isn't found in walls, but in the open heart behind them. And a man who learns to open again, slowly, humbly, will find that life has been waiting, patiently, just outside the door. Take one quiet breath. Feel how the world is still here waiting for you. Before you close this video, step outside your room for a minute. Let the air touch your face. That's what life still feels like. You've carried enough storms. Now let quiet things rebuild you, slowly, naturally, without force. So walk out there, not to be seen, but to see. Not to prove anything, but to live it, one honest day at a time. Thank you for walking with me today. If you have found yourself in these words, you already belong here.